Okay, good morning everyone. Wednesday morning and we're into our last two sessions. So team, we've got this far. We've got Wednesday and we've got Friday left. We're going to do a run through of a lot of different stuff today. So yeah, let's get to it. You need your mats, you need your hand weights ready. We're going kind of just straight in with the workout. We're going to run through kind of like the best of, but all the sort of things that I would encourage you to try and keep up with through the summer if you wanted to. All of those really healthy things that you should be familiar with just now after doing all these classes. Anyway, let's just get straight in, shall we? I'm going to go with the weights to begin with. We're starting with the squat to press as the warm-up. You can do it without the weights if you like, but I've got them. It's up to you if you have them as well. Anyway, standing strong, feet parallel, you know your setup. Going down into a squat and pressing high with the press. Let's get this moving. So this is our beginning of the workout, warming things up. Squat to press. All right, let's get into it then. All right, so a well-practiced movement. All right, take it down into the squat and hold it there. Down into the squat, hold. Doesn't have to be too low, but just into that squat. Feel that groundedness through the feet. Feel that alignment through the knees and the hips, pushing the hips back, knees in line and behind the toes. Feel that strength through the torso. So this is a position that you come down to each time. Sense that strength that you have through the legs to power all the way up and reach up high. Down to that same position, reach up high. Feeling that awareness of alignment each time you go down into that squat. Good. Press up high and hold it there. Press high and hold. Feel that lengthening of the arms, but also the lowering of the shoulders. Feel that uprightness of the back. Engagement through the core. So from there into that squat position, we go from high to low, backwards and forwards between the two. Squat to press. Last few repetitions here. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Step back, right foot steps back into a kneel. I'm going to pop one dumbbell down here. So hip flexor stretch, going into a single arm shoulder press here. So kneeling hip flexor stretch. Breathe into that openness of the hip. Release tension that doesn't need to be there. The dumbbell comes up and we're into that single arm shoulder press. Good, so waking up that upper body, open, expansive. Good, so you can bring some rotation through that if you like. You can make it dynamic, or you can just isolate into that shoulder press, whatever feels most helpful. Last couple of reps here. All right, and then take this down. The dumbbell can go down, the hands can go down on the floor, tuck the toes, lift up into a long runner's lunge. Hands framing that left foot, lengthening through that back leg. Good, all right, allowing yourself to settle into that position. Feeling the stretch wherever you feel it. Good, all right, from there, allow the hands to flatten on the floor. Step back with that left foot into a high plank position. Lift up into downward facing dog. And then stepping forwards with the right foot. Left knee comes down into hip flexor stretch. Grab your dumbbell. So open through that other hip now. Arm comes up. Kneeling, single arm shoulder press. Again, make this as dynamic or as static with your posture as you like. But maintaining a strong alignment and strong activation of that core. All right, Nice, feeling that work accumulate through that shoulder. Good, 3 more reps. 3, 2, 1. Take it down, hands frame the foot, tuck the toes, lift that back knee into a long runner's lunge. So settling into this position. Good. All right, hands flatten down, foot goes back into high plank position. Lengthened through the arms. Hips go up, downward facing dog. And then allow the feet to make their way towards the hands. Let's go into that forward fold before rolling all the way up into a high reach and around. Okay, let's keep it going. Right foot steps back into a lunge position. Let's go arms wide, find balance, find openness. All right, legs working here. We're going to go down and up into that static lunge. So down and up into a static lunge. Build some work into those leg muscles. Good. Nice, feel that broadness through the shoulders, through the arms. Good, hold that high position there. Hold. Good, allow the arms to come down. Right, think about knee lift. Think about that knee lift position as if you're going to do a lunge up. I guess you are going to do a lunge up. All right, so think knee lift. Go down into the lunge and then drive that knee up. Make it happen. Knee lift. Yeah, I just brought some of the mat with me. All right, so knee lift up, hold. Hands on hips. All right, kick outs from here. You know the drill. All right, team, so hopefully you're going from one movement here to the next, flowing smoothly through these well-practiced movements. But still challenging, aren't they? Kick outs here. Good. That stretch down the back of the leg. Yes. That strength through that standing position. Nice. Right, hold that knee lift there. Right, remember that static lunge position? Step back into static lunge. Set up for lunge ups then. Let's do a set of 10. Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1. Drive that knee up for 1 and then back. 2. We're doing lunge ups. 3, as low as you like in that lunge. 4, it could be a step back. 5, it could be a lunge all the way down. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Foot down, step back, left foot. So switch legs here, static lunge position, arms wide, broad through the chest and shoulders. Static lunges down and up. Nice team, good. So maintaining and building that strength through the legs, but also maintaining that mobility, freedom of movement through the hip. All right, go up high on that static lunge. Drop the arms. Think knee lift. Lower down if you need to, and then make it happen. Knee lift. Find your balance. Stand tall, hands on hips. Kick out. Good. And hopefully that feeling of confidence in all these movements as well. All right, knee lift position, hold that still. All right, static lunge, go back to it. Set up for lunge ups, drop down if you need to, and then up into lunge up for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good, drop it down, march that out. My mat feels sticky this morning for some reason. Okay, stand tall, settle the shoulders, reach the arms up on the inhale. Exhale, circle round, fold down. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, take it all the way down to the floor. Inhale into cobra. Exhale into downward facing dog. And then bring the knees down, find box shape, hands below shoulders, knees below hips. Settle out the alignment, settle out the shoulders. Left leg extends to the horizontal. Hold. Feel like length from the hip. Right arm extends to the horizontal as well. Hold. Good. Tracing that alignment through the length of the arm, through the torso, along that lengthened leg. Feel the glutes working. Hold it there. All right, keep that leg where it is. Bring the hand back down. All right, sweeping side to side. Toes touch down out wide. Sweep up and across. Toes touch down on the other side. Isolate that movement. Isolated that to the hip. Good. All right, take it back to the horizontal. Re-lengthen that right arm. Hold again. Good. And then knee comes in, hands come in, back to box shape. Right leg extends, horizontal. Hold. Left arm extends to the horizontal. Lengthen, hold. Corkscrew that other arm into the floor. There, so shoulders feel strong here. Hold. All right, nice. Now we could just hold this all day, couldn't we? Easy. Leg stays still, arm comes down. Reset shoulders. That lengthened right leg stays long, and then toe touches down one side, sweep up and over to the other. So wide sweeping movements. So range of movement, functionality through that hip. Good, take it back to the horizontal. Lift that left arm back to the horizontal as well. Good. All right, bring the knee back in, bring the hand back in. Reset the shoulders. Lengthen both legs to high plank position. All right, from here, take it all down to the floor. Unweight the hands. Place them back down. Keep the toes tucked. Think high plank position, engage the core. Leave the knees on the floor if you have to, but then make it happen. High plank, all the way up. All right, again, take it down. Hands off the floor. Place them back down. Tuck the toes or drop the knees. Think high plank, and again, make it happen. Once more, lower down all the way to the floor. Lift the hands, place them back down, tuck the toes, drop the knees if you want to. High plank, go. All right, small press up movements, 10 reps, that's all. We lower down, push up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Knees down, legs out in front, rolling down onto your back. All right, and relax for a moment. All right, so we're lying down on your back, on the mat. Lengthen through the neck, shoulders relaxed. Okay, engage those core muscles. Okay, knees come up into tabletop, so not allowing that lower back to lift up. Okay, so find a strong activation of the core. You might want to lift the head and shoulders. I find that helps, because you know you've got your core engaged when the head and shoulders are lifted here, but you could leave them on the floor if you prefer. Double leg extension, kicking up to the ceiling. There. All right, so there's that leg stretch for the hamstrings. Arms could be long by the sides with the head and shoulders lifted. Feeling that strength of activation through the abs. Keep the legs going if that's easy enough. Fingertips to the outside of the head. Outside of the head? What? Like, as opposed to the inside? Alright, I think I meant like to the side of the head. Either way, fingertips up here. Right, you can hold it here or you can add in toe touch. Alright, so the legs extend. Single arm toe touch, getting that reach, getting that stronger activation of those core muscles. Oh, it's a burner, it's a worker. So straight to work with those abs. We could do this all day, couldn't we? Nope. Last few reps. Good, and lower down, feet flat on the floor, hips come up. All right, we're coming back to those abs. Let's go posterior chain for a moment. In here, hips up high. All right, quick run through the options here. We've got halfway lower and lift. Halfway lower and lift. Focusing on that posterior chain. Lift up high, hold it there. Keep on with that halfway lift if you want, or we got kick ups. Alright, you could keep going with that. We've got kick up and hold, and we've got a halfway lower and lift. Youch. Oh, feeling that in hamstrings. Good. Alright, switch sides, kick up. Halfway lower and lift. Now you could keep going with that, or you could just turn that into a combination. Kick up, halfway lower, lift, switch legs. Kick up, halfway lower, lift. All right, whatever you've chosen to do, work away. So working into that posterior chain. You're also kind of working against any hip flexor tightness in that hip bridge. Last one. Feet on the floor, lower the hips down, resettle the shoulders. Knees come back up into tabletop. Arms come up to the vertical. All right, sense that neutral spine position. All right, we got that? All right, half dead bugs. So from tabletop position with the legs, one leg extends, opposite arm extends. Bring it back to center. Switching sides. Notice how one arm stays completely still, one knee stays completely still. No movement of that knee, is there? It's not coming towards you. Nope, it is not. All right, so half dead bugs. Or fully lengthen the legs to the vertical, resettle the shoulders, lower one leg and the opposite arm. Again, one arm does not move, one leg does not move. Strong activation of the core. So doing all of these movements we've done before, many repetitions of each. All right, so should be confident, but still challenged by them. Some of them more than others. All of them adding to that functionality of the whole body. Good. Last few reps. And relax it down. Whew, all right, good work. All right, roll it over onto your side. All right, so got my favorite coming up. Side lying. Always forget which way around the arms go here. The lower arm goes out straight. Side lying knee drive. Single leg, double leg. One leg on the floor, both legs off, whatever you like. Either way, it's a knee drive up towards the torso. Elbow comes towards the incoming knees. Get that side flexion. Right, find your way of doing this. That brings a strong activation of those obliques. Good, yeah. Feel that work. Really focus into those side muscles there. Good, last couple of reps. Nice, lengthen the legs. Keep it over on the side, allow them to go down on the floor. So lengthening out into alignment. Lift up onto that forearm, onto that elbow. Elbow below shoulder, get that alignment set up. You can tuck that lower leg and lift up into a half side plank. Check we've got this alignment here, shoulders down, shoulders in line. Or you could straighten that lower leg and lift up into that full side plank. Feet staggered, feet stacked, I don't mind. Top arm up. Either way, a variation of side plank. Good. And that gaze could follow that lifted arm. Make it more like a kind of yoga opening out movement, or it could just go neutral. Side plank. All right, now we could allow this to come back down, but we're going to transition through into a regular front plank. You could do this while staying lifted, sweeping that arm down, rolling over onto the toes, and finding a low plank. So however you manage to do that, we're in a low plank position here. Good. All right, think side plank, but on the other side. All right, so see if you can transition through onto the forearm or elbow, into a staggered stance. Maybe that bottom knee goes down, maybe that top arm lifts up. Find side plank on the other side. Nice. Not sure really that side plank is everybody's favourite. There's quite a lot of strength of support required through that shoulder, so just mindful of that. All right, let's bring this back down into side lying on this side and set up for that knee drive. So set up, get ready, single leg, double leg, both legs off, whatever you like. Get into that knee drive movement. Shoulder blades down the back. All right, so we're doing knee drive here. Working through the obliques on this side. Nice, focus that work. Last couple of reps. Good, re-lengthen, roll over onto your front, back into a low plank. So low plank position. So refine that alignment. Nice. Okay, hold this here for a few more moments. So strong, confident in this low plank position. Yeah. All right, knees come down, hands on the floor, toes tuck up into downward facing dog. Lengthen through the torso. All right, left foot lifts, left leg extends, three-legged dog. And then sweeping that knee through, outside of the leg goes into the floor, into high pigeon pose. There, so again, that stretch through the hip. So functionality through that hip. Releasing tightnesses that don't serve us well. High pigeon pose could go down into the low pigeon pose. Good, back up to high pigeon pose. Tuck the toes back foot, send it back into a high plank. Re-lift, downward facing dog. Right foot lifts, send that leg out, three-legged dog. Sweep through, outside of the leg, on the floor. Lift up, flattening that back foot, lengthening that back leg. And this might be where you choose to stay. in that high pigeon pose. Maybe that's enough of a stretch, or we can take it down low if that's more helpful. And before building our way back up, tucking the toes of the back foot, sending that leg back into a high plank position. Hold this here for a few moments. Sense that strength through the arms and shoulders. Right, so this full repertoire of movement mastered to a greater or not so great extent. There's always going to be some that challenge more than others, but challenging to the whole body, strengthening and improving the functionality of the whole body. Lift hips up into downward facing dog. So yeah, just holding this downward facing dog. So functionality is a word that kind of comes up quite a lot at the minute. So especially when I'm doing a massage therapy, a lot of people talk about strengthening the exercise they're doing. And when I'm massaging around, particularly shoulders, a lot of it is kind of less of an angle towards strengthening and more towards rebuilding functionality, of which strength is just one component. But mobility, range of movement, freedom of movement, letting go of tensions that don't serve us very well, all those things help towards the functionality. All right, good. Bring the feet forwards towards the hands, into that forward fold, allowing the legs to lengthen, but the torso just to drop. Good, so holding that forward fold. It's not even holding the forward fold, it's just folding into this. And so yeah, this collection of movements, I hope, helps build that functionality. Strength being one part of that. From forward fold, rebuild through the length of the spine to a high reach. And then circle those arms around. Whoa, all right, team, from the first part of that warm-up all the way through, pretty much non-stop. Good work, team. Well done. I hope you feel better for having done that and encouraged in the things that you feel strong at. And yeah, just better for having done it. Team, we're back in live class Friday morning, 7:30. That'll be the last one of this season, and then we're into a summer break. So I will see you then, or I'll see you on the recording. Either way, I'll see you next time. Good job, team.